Hi Warriors, this is Jaylyn, my legal warrior, and today's segment is going to be about job contacts. What is job contacts? So job contacts is when you are requesting from the other party to simply make job contacts. The reason why you're requesting the other party to make job contacts is because they refuse to go back to work, or they're saying that they're making job contacts but have no proof of it to show to you or even to the court. And so you need the court to make an order for job contacts and for that person to keep track of the job contacts. There's actually a form that the party that's ordered to make the job contacts to complete. They don't have to use this form, but it's perhaps a good form for you to review when you do ask the other party to make job contacts. So this form is D044, and it literally is called job contacts. So you're, not you, but you or the other party would need to identify whether they're the petitioner or the respondent or the other party in this case. And they've made the following job contact as detailed in the table below. So they have to include the name, address, website, and phone number of the company that they contacted for a job. The description of the job. And you see the box is so small for the job description. I don't know any job descriptions that's going to be a maximum of 2 or 3 words. So you might need to include an attachment for that. In fact, our recommendation is that you ask the other party to print out the job descriptions. We're living in a day and age where there is technology. We're living in a day and age where everybody has access to technology, whether it's going to the library or just having that access through our children's school, or having it at home. You're paying for it in some fashion. So if you are applying for jobs during quarantine, most likely you're applying for those jobs online, and therefore the other party does have access to the job description and can in fact print out the job that they're applying for. Now, who's the person that they contacted or the method of contact? And this can just be, well, this day and age is going to be through email or even through their website or through LinkedIn. There's all these different job search engines out there. So they could also include that information there. And then when they contacted the employer, and this could also be the same date that they submitted their resume, and you'd hope that the other party submitted their resume. And then the results. So whether they received a callback, whether their application is pending, whether they've just been flat out denied from the position. And so they can complete maybe this entire form once a day, once a week. That's really going to be between you and the other party or pursuant to any court orders. This is signed under penalty of perjury. That means that everything here is true and accurate, and they in fact did make these job contacts. So sometimes I will say that it's not exactly through a website though, right? Like maybe a friend or a friend has a job and they said, go ahead and give me your resume and I will submit your application to my company or to this new startup or whatever it might be. Or maybe they don't even necessarily need a resume because there is that contact and that connection, which is why networking is so important these days. But that would allow for them to obtain this job without even necessarily applying. And if that's the case, clearly there's not going to be a printout of the job description, or at least there might not be a printout of the job description, but they should be able to include the employer, who it is that the application is being submitted to, or who they would potentially work for, and the job description, perhaps writing something small and brief or having an attachment of some sort, and then writing that contact's information, the connection that allowed for that person to, in fact, apply for this job that may not even necessarily be available online, but it's just available through this connection. So through a friend or a former coworker or something like that, you would go ahead and include that. And then the date that the contact was made with that individual, and then whether your application is pending or it's been denied or you've been accepted. Now, one of our recommendations for our warriors is to send job opportunities to the other party that they know that the other party is qualified for. So that actually assists you in court to kind of boast your argument that the other party isn't actually making legitimate job contacts. Because if somebody's overqualified for a position and all they're doing is applying for minimum wage jobs, essentially working at minimum wage jobs for somebody who was earning 6 figures, and employers may not actually hire that individual because they're overqualified. And if that's the type of positions that this person that's doing 6-figure jobs is applying for, and yet you are actually finding something that is within their capability, and it's within their capability because perhaps you have their resume or the job description to their former employment that they've been terminated from or laid off from or just quit. And if they quit, that's a whole different issue. But you can help the other party actually make those job contacts by sending it to them. Now, I'm not saying apply on behalf of the other party. Do not do that. You could just email the other party the jobs that they could have the opportunity to apply for. Now, something else that you can do to kind of skip all of that and to have a more persuasive argument as to why the other party is not willing to, in fact, work is to do a vocational evaluation. And that's conducted by a professional. It costs a few $1,000s, and it interviews the person that you are requesting for them to make job contacts, or for them to have a job, or to increase their earning ability, or to have a job that's consistent with their earning ability given their education, their health, their age, and prior job experience. And so that vocational evaluation that's conducted by this professional will get a history of all of that, their resume, and even contact different employers within that person's field and within their skill sets to see if they would in fact hire somebody like the person that they are interviewing, and doing this assessment as to whether they are capable of earning a certain income. And so that professional is going to establish a range of earning capacity on that other party. So job contacts can help you establish that. Like, let's say you started out with a job contacts order and still the other party didn't necessarily obtain a job from just that, then perhaps you could move on to a vocational evaluation and submit those to the professional that is doing the vocational evaluation. Typically, a vocational evaluation is paid for by one party, but you can always ask the court to reassess the allocation of the fees for the vocational evaluation. So essentially what that means is, let's say you upfront the costs now, but you're asking the court to divide it 50-50 if such happens. So that's a request that you can make to the court, but you would have to advance those costs and pay it and ensure that the vocational evaluation is complete if you didn't want to do the job contacts. Now, one little tip I will give to our viewers here is with the job contacts, since you have the employer and who they contacted and the job description, and you're getting, like, you're suspicious. If you're suspicious that they actually, in fact, applied for this job, you now have that information to subpoena the records from the list of job contacts that the other party made. So that is something that you can do during this time, actually, is to subpoena those records, depending, of course, on the employer, because now everybody's either working from home. They may or may not necessarily have access to that information, but something to consider. And again, this is to help open dialogue during the quarantine and to ask the other party whether they'd be willing to do job contacts. More likely than not, they're going to say no. You're asking for a vocational evaluation without a court order and the other party is in agreement. And if they don't have an attorney, and the party is probably not going to be receptive to that. But if they had an attorney, then maybe there is a better chance for the other party to accept a vocational evaluation, to submit to a vocational evaluation. So that's how job contacts and vocational evaluations work. And if you found this helpful, please subscribe to our channel, comment below, share it. We greatly appreciate our viewership, and we hope that this information is clarifying any misinformation out there from the local community, especially during quarantine. This is supposed to help parties communicate with one another about what to do during quarantine, what kind of things they should be thinking about, and what kind of issues they can be educating themselves about during the quarantine while the courts are closed. The court is essentially scheduled to open up on Friday, May 1st. We don't believe that that is true. We believe that the court will more likely than not open towards the end of May, or even perhaps sometime in June, but who knows. But we hope our warriors are staying at home so that we can help flatten this curve and we could slowly start going out. Like now we're able to go to the beach, and of course there's restrictions on that, but at least we're able to go out and have a place to go, like the beach, at least here in San Diego. And we just need to stay at home so that the courts can eventually open and we can conduct business as usual. Thank you very much, warriors. We hope that you are being safe, and please be well and have a good day.